Well, good afternoon. I do trust that you're well. Yes, and we've only got 7 days left before it's the 1st of November for us to make our mark, to draw our cross on the ballot papers. Thank you to everyone who gave me feedback on the first video, which I could share with you, and also requests to focus on a bit more information on 2 areas, one being the ballots, and secondly, going to be more on the proportional representation and how that works. So I'm going to do my best to share that with you over the next 10 minutes or so. And for those who have not seen the first one, please relax. I'm not here to solicit any votes for any specific party. In actual fact, no party, I think, both from today on is allowed to be canvassing openly or canvassing at all. So just sit back, relax, and I hope the next 10 minutes will give you some insights. So just to give you some background, here's just some of the information and resources I looked at to find some information. And I would really encourage you to look into them as well, specifically looking at electing a councillor, the one on the left-hand side here from the Ballot Institute. This is a very recent document drafted by Professors Jaap de Visser and Nico Statler. Really look at it. So of the captions I've got in here really comes from that document, so let's acknowledge them. But I really encourage you to look at that document. It will give you some good insights. Okay, just a quick recap. When we look at our ward and we're going to be selecting a ward councillor or voting for them, that is a person dedicated to a specific ward. They win the ward or become the councillor in terms of the first past the post principle, or the person who really got the most votes. They become our ward councillor. They would be the chairperson of that ward council, of the ward committee. Now, this is an important point because it's not a political party committee in the ward. It's a ward committee, a constituted committee, and the ward councillor becomes the chairperson, and all of us, irrespective whether we voted for that party or that councillor, we need to be represented at that ward committee, and that person will become the chairperson. An interesting thing I read in the document of the Ballot Institute was that if there is a equal, if the ward councillors, the vote was equal between 2 or 3, then there would be a lot. In my own mind, I thought it would be a by-election, but no, they didn't draw a lot. So let's hope we don't get to that where it's the luck of the draw goes through. On the other one that we will be voting for would be in the proportional representative councillors. Now, they represent the political party in the municipal council. And what is important here is that we don't necessarily know the names because their names aren't on the placards which are on the poles and in the street. So where do we find them? Because for me personally, it's important to know who those people are, because I must vote for that party with those candidates. So I want to ensure that there are candidates with caliber there, and candidates that I've got confidence in that can take me forward, or can take the municipality forward in which I am living. So you can go to the IEC's website, just look under the 2021 municipal elections. You will find the provinces there. You can just go to the province and then you find your town. You will see there's a list of all the political parties. And then there would be the names of the people indicated against wards, but also then the names that start with 1, 2, 3. So they're on a ranked order from 1 to however candidates the party has put forward. So usually the number 1 would be the party's candidate, which will be the candidate for the mayor, so the mayoral candidate. But by now you should know your mayoral candidate, because if the political party has got confidence in who needs to lead that party and lead that town as mayor, they would have announced that by now for us all to know, and then to go forward on that. So look at that name list, get yourself comfortable, because you're going to have to cast a vote. for those people that you feel can take the town forward. And consult with your party or the parties, or consult, if you don't know, they ask, but who's your mayoral candidate or who's your PR list candidates, and they would be able to tell you who they are. Okay, so other further recap is just remember the duties. Councillors are there to serve the best interests of the community, not their own. They need to communicate, and we said last time, communicate not what they think we want to hear, but communicate the truth, and it's both ways, to the municipality and to us. They need to prepare for meetings. They need to monitor the performance of the municipality. They need to raise governance issues, or any issue which is of concern and which we as the people bring to them. They need to raise, and of course they need to follow up. They need to work in accordance to a specific code of conduct which is set there for councillors. Okay, so what categories of municipalities are there for which we're going to be voting in? We've got the 8 metropolitan municipalities, the 8 large ones. They, as they say, standalone municipalities here, and they would be, for example, Tshwane, Johannesburg, Durban, Cape Town, Port Elizabeth, Quebec. So those are the larger municipalities. There's 8 of them, so you'll be voting for them. And in that voting process, you'll get 2 ballots. We'll touch on that now. So you'll be receiving 2 ballots in the metropolitan area to vote for. Then you find the district municipalities and the local municipalities, 44 district municipalities and then 205 local municipalities. And usually the district municipality covers an area of which there's around 6, 7 or 8 smaller municipalities, and they would then form part of the district municipality. And we, in the district or in the local municipalities, we're going to be receiving 3 ballot papers. So the metropolitan area, you're going to be receiving 2 ballot papers, and in the district or in the local municipality, you're going to be receiving 3 ballot papers, or which includes a vote for the district municipality. So let's look at those now. Right, as I've just indicated, in the 2 different municipal areas, in other words, the metropolitan municipality, and then in the local municipality, we're going to have different number of ballots. So let's focus on the first one, or one of the ballots. Let's say the first ballot you're going to be receiving. So if we look at the schematic on the right-hand side of the screen, there am I standing at the bottom there. I'm doing my vote, and I'm going to be voting, in my case, for a local council. Now, it's important that the local councils are made up of 50% ward and 50% PR council, proportional representative councillors. The same with the metro. So it's a 50-50, and I'll be getting a ballot paper for which I'm going to be voting for a ward councillor. Now, on that ballot paper, you would see the name indicated of the person. It would be on the left-hand side. You would see the emblem of the party from which the candidate comes, or it will be an independent, and then it will indicate the name of the party or the independent, of course, then on the other side. So they will be voting for a ward councillor. Then you'll get a ballot paper. We'll be voting for the proportional representative councillor. Now, there you'll be voting for a party who you want to represent you in the council. And hence what I said, it's very important to understand who are the people that are actually going to be sitting there in that party and supporting us. Do we have the confidence in those? Do we know them? And all of that. So we need to understand who you're going to be voting for, but you're going to cast your vote for a proportional representation, not against the name. You're only going to see the party. It's going to be for the district, for the council, it's going to be a proportional representative, and you're going to see the party emblem, and of course the party's name. So you'll be voting on that ballot paper, and that will be the same in the metro. And for a district, so from a local municipality, we're going to be voting at a 3rd ballot, and that will be for the 40% PR councillors for the district area. So here you're going to vote once again for a party, and you say, for this party, I put my confidence, who's going to take our district forward and manage our district, and 40% of the councillors that land up in a district council is going to be coming from the vote that you and I are casting for them. So remember, there's 3 ballots for a local council, which is for the ward, for the council itself, for the party to be represented on the council, and then also for the district, for the party represented in the council. And in the metro, it will only be the 2 ballots. Okay, now we have cast our votes. Now it's to determine how many proportional represented councillors will have elected seats in that council. So how does that formula work? There are 4 steps. The first one is to determine a quota, and the quota really means that how many votes must a party get for them to qualify for a PR councillor. Okay, so that's very important. So it's important that when you cast your votes correctly for all 3 ballot papers, because the ward councillor is easy. The ward, you voted for the person who goes in. Now for the PR council, there must be a specific formula, or there is a formula. How does that work? The A of the formula, the A as indicated here in the formula in step 1, represents the total number of votes cast for all parties. That is, all votes cast in the PR ballots plus all votes cast in the wards. So all the votes cast are taken, and that is then divided by B, represents the number of seats in the council. So if there are 20 seats in that council, or there are 55 seats, or there are 100 seats, that will be that less the C, which represents the number of independent ward councils elected in the election. Remember what we said, that the PR councillors, they represent a party, and that not a ward councillor or independent councillor will not, if not belonging to a party, will then not be eligible to be a PR councillor. So that is the formula, and then you'll get to the quota. And let's say the quota is, let's make it easy, 3,000 votes. Then you'll get to step number 2. In step number 2 is the allocation of those specific seats. How does that work? They take the votes cast for the party in the PR ballot. So this is for the party you voted for, plus the votes cast for the party in the ward ballot. So all the votes cast for that specific party is then put together and divided by the quota. Then, of course, as you would in any divide sum, more than likely you'll get to some kind of a fraction, a 0.6 or a 0.3 or whatever. So should there be, once they've added up all the wards, in other words, the candidates that have been successful for the ward councillors, as well as the numbers that come out from step 2, there might be a shortfall. Then they would roll up the fraction, and those with the highest fraction will be rolled up, and those with the lowest fraction will fall off. And then they would allocate the remaining unallocated seats to those parties of which they have rolled up. Now, the step 4 will be the deduction of the ward councils that represent parties. And of course, remember, you voted for a ward councillor, they're already there. So let's say a party has got 20 in total. In other words, let's say 15 ward councillors, 5 proportional councillors. In terms of the formula, they will just deduct the 15 from the 20, and that will give you the party's final number of seats, which they'll be entitled to for a proportional representative council. I do trust that that makes sense. It's a difficult sum to try and give an example, because there are so many parties. You know, there are maybe 90 parties contesting in some municipalities and maybe less in others. Okay, so then just to the final slide, just to say, remember, we're going to be drawing the cross. There are a few principles in the 2 videos that we went through. In your consideration of ensuring we're getting the best qualified and the best people, the best party or parties to take us forward, the first principle we can remember was Batupele, is that the people are first. They serve the people. The second principle, which we discussed, was Sida Uhi. Sida Uhi is a First Nation phrase For us, the First Nations is our San community, and that means ons gee we care. So we want a party, and we want people that put the people first in terms of the needs and requirements. That secondly, that they care. And then the third principle we have, I am because we are. And that's another phrase which is well used in South Africa, Umuntu, Nukumuntu, Nagabantu. Of course, it means I am because we are. And then finally, it's very important that councillors and there are there, whether they're ward councillors or party councillors through the PR system, that they must take accountability. They are stewards to us, the people. Hulle moet hulle rensmeesterskap opneem en ons gaan hulle daarvoor aanspreeklik hou. And just to end off is to say thank you. And I've once again got a caption of a chess game here. As I'm sure you've studied the landscape, you know exactly what you need to do, and I wish you all the best and make the right decision for yourself, your town, and for our country. I wish you well, and looking forward to sharing an outcome of the elections with you. Thank you.